Welcome back to another episode of the CRL podcast. My name is Caleb Smith, driver of the number 54 CRL truck and ARCA car on Monday and Wednesday nights, joined by Jacob and Rob.
It's your boy Jakob, driver of the number 19 truck and ARCA car for High Five Racing on Mondays and Wednesdays, owner of Grant Designs.
This is Rob Sherwood, Ron Sherwoo, occasionally the driver of the 93 on Mondays and Wednesdays for SME Motorsports.
And we are joined by a special guest, winner of the CRL Double Charlotte race, the Grant Designs 300, and our CRL ARCA Series race we just finished about 25 minutes ago. Seth Fouty, how you doing?
Hey, thanks guys. Appreciate you having me on here. Thank you. I'm doing really well.
Seth, I just always ask all of our guests, if you go back and listen to all of the podcasts, I always ask them because I'm always interested. What originally got you into racing itself, and where did you find iRacing, and how did that come about?
Yeah, that's a great question actually. So I guess you could say for me, racing has always been something that as a young kid, and when I'm talking young, I'm talking probably around that 5 years old. My mom, she she had a boyfriend at the time who watched NASCAR, and that was kind of where it kicked off. I don't know if you guys, I'm not sure how old you guys are, but Brett Bodine drove the number 11 Lowe's car. And that was like Lowe's first, I guess, official sponsored car, but he was absolutely horrible. I used to root for him all the time, and from Brett Bodine, it went to Richard Childress Racing with Mike Skinner. You guys might be maybe a little more familiar with Mike Skinner. He was teammates to Dale Earnhardt. Yeah, so became a Mike Skinner fan. He drove for Lowe's, and I guess the Lowe's thing was a big deal because my mom was store manager for Lowe's. So I kind of had some connection, and I used to go there as a kid and stuff like that and hang out. But not to digress, that was kind of what really kind of kicked it off for me, to really like watching racing. I started learning from a young age, played video games since I was just a young guy, playing PlayStation, and I had Super Nintendo and things like that. PlayStation, I had a NASCAR game, so me and my next door neighbor used to play that together all the time. And I just always had a kind of a desire to want to be a race car driver. Growing up, I wanted to be a race car driver. And really for me, my uncle, he did drag racing, and I remember he used to tell me that, you know, you don't want to do racing, like, because it's way too expensive. It's you'll blow your bank account trying to do racing.
That it is.
Yeah, and so as I got older, unfortunately, I've had times in my life where I probably very easily could have done. I've been blessed enough to be able to probably do some racing, real life, but because of comments like that, I kind of decided not to really get involved. And it wasn't until I met my wife that I was watching. I typed into YouTube. I remember I was at home, I was cleaning the house, and I remember I typed into YouTube a NASCAR race, right? Like, so, and there was a race that popped up, and it was the Peak Antifreeze series, which I didn't know at the time. I thought it was actually NASCAR. So I click it on, and I'm just listening to it. And of course, Evan Pasoko and these guys are like, who does the Coke series, broadcasting for the Coke series. Those guys are doing the broadcasting, and I'm like, what is this? Like, this is really cool. Is this a game? You know? So I told my wife, I showed my wife, and I'm like, I don't know what this is, but I want to do this. Like, I never got to race in life, like, you know, real racing.
Yeah.
So this is like what these guys are saying is like, this is as real as it can get, right? So like I was like hooked immediately. So I told her I wanted to get into it. Bought all kinds of stuff. Well, actually, let me take it back. My father-in-law, I ended up finding out that my father-in-law raced Papyrus back in the day. So he actually had in his closet or whatever, he had an old wheel that he gave me. He's like, oh yeah, you want to get into it? He's like, here, I used to race Papyrus, which was before iRacing. It's like the first renditions of it or whatever. But so So anyway, I got the wheel and stuff, and I raced on that, and I knew pretty quickly that it was something that I was really excited about and passionate. So I started to upgrade my stuff and got some Fanatec pedals and Fanatec wheel and wheelbase and stuff. And really, it's just kind of been one of these things that I like to play other games and stuff like that, but there's nothing that fills my my itch for racing like iRacing does, right? Like this is where um I like to spend my time here. I like to spend a lot of my free time. Of course, you know, my wife and our kids are our most important thing. And actually, if you look at my iRacing stats, you'll see that there's periods, like long periods, where we're talking like years sometimes. Where like I've been on the service for 11 years now, and there's times where you'll see that I didn't do anything, right? Well, those were like down times where, you know, maybe we had a baby or we got busy or I just felt like my priorities were really kind of screwed up and I was putting way too much effort into iRacing because this was a big deal to me. And so I've kind of learned as I've gotten older now. You know, of course, you guys know that we just had our seventh child, and I've gotten good now.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Jacob. I've gotten good with doing my priorities correctly, and I talk about Jesus all the time. You know, when I do my thanks and stuff like that. So one big thing was, you know, having my priorities right with the Lord and stuff. So making sure that I'm giving Christ time before I ever even get, you know, onto the sim and do stuff with the sim. So I think I've kind of balanced that out pretty well right now. So I've been back on the service and I've been racing for a while and yeah, so that's kind of where the journey kind of started. And then as far as like doing officials and stuff, I did officials for quite some time early on. I got out of officials for a while and I started doing a lot of league stuff with different leagues. I ran a league for a little while. And that was a good time. There's a lot of work in it, which you know, I give all the props to you guys for what you do in this league because I know how hard it is to do that week after week and stuff. And I'm very proud to be a part of this group. And I just want to say thank you to you guys for the time and effort you put into this league. So yeah, I joined some different leagues, and one of the leagues that I pretty much ran, I'll say religiously, we ran it just about every day of the week. And when I say we, I'm talking like Mike Kelly and Scott Simley and myself. We just kind of started looking for something else. We needed something that was a little less toxic, if you will. And I guess Mike and Scott kind of found your group. And when the truck series deal was coming around, Mike said, "Hey man, do you want to join us for the truck series? We could be chartered in." And I said, "Yeah, I think I can devote a season to that for sure." So, you know, once I got locked in and brought in, now the rest is kind of history. I mean, I'm here and I'm having a good time and yeah, so just try to perform well every week and feel that passion for racing, going fast and try to be as respectful to everybody at the same token. So
Well, we've honestly had a blast having y'all as part of the league. Is there something that you like that has kind of drawn you to stay with this group, or is it just getting the chance to run with Mike and Scott and some guys that it seems like you know you have a really good relationship with them?
no, I would say that, well, yes to your question. It's, and then no to the second part of it. It's definitely not because of Mike and Scott. I would say that, you know, I have intentions to stick around, even if Mike and Scott go, somewhere else or something like that, which there's no planning to do that. I'm just saying like, if they would, I just like being here. I get, you know, I interact with you guys on the Discord. Typically, I don't do much of that kind of stuff and in other leagues that I've been part of and things like that. I just think that you guys have a really good group of guys here. I think that, you know, there's a lot of respect. There's some joshing up and down, you know, where you guys kind of pick on each other a little bit here and there. And you can just tell that it's all in fun because, you know, uh, it just seems like I don't ever see anybody's feelings getting hurt or anything like that. It just seems like a good place. So I just really like it here. And I think that you guys are a really good growing league. I definitely see a a lot of potential for the league. You know, maybe there's a few things that I don't necessarily agree on, but that's life, right? Like there's some things, maybe some of the rule things I don't really agree on or whatever. That's part of life. You can't have it your way all the time. So those kinds of things, I adjust my racing or adjust, you know, I know what the rules are, so then I abide by those things, and and that's fine. So I don't get too torn up about stuff like that. I thoroughly enjoy the group that's here. And like I said, I see a lot of potential in this league. I think that I don't know what your competition was like in the past, but I hear you guys talk about how much you guys have grown and gotten better and better and better. And I mean, I can tell. Here's what I'll tell you. I've been racing for so long on here. I can tell just by the way most of a lot of you guys run on the track. You're just that close. You're so close to just it clicking in your head just right that you're a dominant driver all the time, right? Like that your performance is there. And then of course when you spread that out over, you know, X amount of guys that also are in that same boat that are just that close, right? And it's clicking for them as well. Well, then you have a top-notch league, right? Which is like, you know, guys that maybe your I rating shows that you're only like 2,000 I rating, but really in reality, a lot of you guys are in that 5,000-6,000 I rating drivers. So I see that on the track, and I can tell by the way that you hold your lines. I can tell by the way you choose to, whether you choose to dive a corner, whether you choose to bump somebody. You know, I've had some of my best racing with Jacob Grant on the service. You know, or in the league. Rob, I haven't got to race around you a whole lot. We've had a couple times where we've been around each other, but I'm not sure what nights you're running all the time or whatever, but I know we've been a few times, but I remember Jacob the most, I guess, because it seems like that we're around each other a lot. I feel like Jacob's right there, right? He's really close to it, just clicking, and he puts it all together, and he's, you know, he's outperforming, you know, Mike and myself and Scott and stuff like that, and things like that. So I think that I see like you guys are about to like hit a, as far as your members go, you're about to basically, I don't know, you're at this point of an edge, and you're about to jump off this edge, and you guys are just gonna have it. So I don't know. I think that you guys have a fantastic group, and like I said, the skill of everybody in here is phenomenal, and I think that some guys are just that close to getting it right. Like they're just almost there. So hopefully that kind of answers some of that question for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
most
for sure.
definitely, and we really appreciate the kind words of from you to about the league and about myself. I've always wondered how people thought of me as a driver and how I race them, and it's like, oh, he's a fucking asshole, or he's this, or he's wow, he's really good. So it's pretty cool to hear you give me those nice compliments there. I remember a lot of our battles, and they're always door to door, like I can be an inch from the wall and you can be an inch from my car, and we're going down the back stretch. You can't do that with a lot of guys on the server, and it's very fun. So kudos to you for being able to have the driving ability to do those things, and you're a future champion, that's for sure.
Well, thanks, Jacob. I appreciate that. And I told the guys tonight. I've noticed in you, Jacob, the last couple races. I said Jacob's racing with a red mist in his eyes because I don't know why. I just feel like I can tell you're fast. You know what I mean? And it's like, and you're go. And I just think that you're really close to getting that win this year. I know that it hasn't been the greatest of seasons for you. You've been in a lot of hiccups on the track and stuff like that. But I know when we're around each other, when you and I are around each other, you're exactly right. I mean, I can count on you to stay in your lane. I can count on you you know, to not wash up right when you're on my inside or whatever. And
Right.
that's an important part of racing. And then the other side of it too is, and I don't know, um, there's that type of racing, right? And you're right, because there's a lot of people on the service that can't do those things, right? They can't hold those lines. They can't, they wash up or whatever. You got to worry about them dumping you when you're going down the straightaway because they're sitting on your right, your left rear bumper. You gotta be careful with that kind of stuff. Those are kind of things that I think that has really helped me, honestly, with learning how to race guys like that and getting to that point. And that's why I think that us being in here, and I'm not tooting a horn or anything like that, so don't take it like this. But I think that fast guys like Mike Kelly in here and stuff like that, right? When you watch how Mike races and things like that, you can learn so much from how he races. And racing guys that are faster than you will always make you better, especially if you have that desire and want to be faster and better, right? So, that's why I race a lot of official races. So I'm in a lot of top split races, and those guys are really good, right? They don't give you an inch. You can get an inch in leagues a lot of times. You're not getting an inch in official races. Those guys are buttholes, and I'll just put it that way.
Yeah.
So, if you can learn to race with those guys and you can put together races and finish decently, and that's one thing that since I've been back to racing that I've been focusing on so much is, you know what? I don't have to win every single race. I just need to get positive I rating, right? Like I don't care if it's 5 I rating or 2 I rating, as long as I finish the race with a positive I rating and I don't have a destroyed car at the end of the whole thing, because that's like I can't stand that. And that can happen a lot. But eventually, when you kind of go in with that mindset, you start to learn how to race those guys differently so that those things don't happen, but yet you're competitive. And eventually, you find yourself running, more up front, right, with that group of guys, because you're getting better and better. And I think, for guys that are in the league here, keep watching guys like Mike and what's the guy's name? Parker Collins, is that right? Is
Yeah,
it
Yeah.
Parker?
yeah.
Yeah, Parker Collins is, I raced, he was, Parker's really fast. And I don't know Parker. I've not raced with him really before, but in the league here, he's a really fast driver. And from what I can tell, he's a pretty clean driver too so far. At least when I've been around him, I haven't had any issues. So he's another guy to watch. Jacob, you're a guy to watch. Um, Caleb, I think that you have tracks that you seem to have put together, right? Where you're tonight, you were really fast, right? So when you see those guys that are really fast, those are the guys to watch. And Caleb, I've been around you before. I was around you multiple times tonight. And really, that's kind of the first time that we've really been around each other. But you proved to me tonight that you knew how to hold a line. I didn't know at first, right? Like I was like, okay, I don't know what Caleb's going to do here, so I'll give him a little bit more space, see where his car's going to go. If he's going to drift up on, when you were in my inside a couple times, see if he's going to drift up or if he's going to be able to hold that line, because I knew he drove it in hard. And you were able to hold that line. So I knew, okay, this guy can be trusted. And, if we bump here and there or whatever, it's not really that big of a deal. That's part of racing. I don't care when we touch or whatever, those things happen. But overall, I know that I can trust you. So, there's guys like that. And I think that, as you guys continue to watch those guys and learn from those guys, you're just going to continue to get better. I think that it's always good to bring in better competition. There's guys that are way better than myself. There's guys that are way better than Mike Kelly. Mike Kelly is a former DWC pro driver back in the old days. And there's guys that are better than Mike. And I think that the more that you guys continue to grow this league and you continue to bring guys in, we have to continue to evolve as a group, right? And when we bring the next guy in that's faster than all of us, like, yeah, it's gonna suck if he's winning a lot of races, but also
We just
like
got to get faster.
let it be fuel to get faster and to continue to push yourself to get better and better and better. So, yeah, I think you guys are on the right track, and I see a lot of potential in every single one of the guys that are running the league. So,
Moving on to our Monday event, since we did not race the trucks, we did a CRO double first annual. It's coming back next season with the success that we had on Monday night. Turned out very well. We had a nice turnout of drivers. Went green a lot of green flag laps, and that's what we love to see in the Clean Racing League. And speaking of our first race, which was at Indy, we did half distance Indy 500, and Caleb Smith came home with a W. How did that happen, and how did you make that work? How do you feel?
Well, it's nice to actually win. Um, I don't do a lot of that, like you guys do. So it was of course it was in an open wheel car, so really, that's more of my style than the stock car. But I feel like I had the quickest car like the entire race, and when I qualified seventh, I think, and that first run, the air was bad. It was it was difficult following somebody, but once you made adjustments to the front anti-roll bar and all of that, like I had moved mine up to six to get better front rotation, um, and then once I did that, it just rotated better in the dirty air. And we had a green flag run, and Jordan Trask was in the lead, and we had a caution come out, and I restarted third, and I think Rob stayed out.
Yeah,
Um,
sounds right.
yeah, so Ron stayed out, and Jordan's up there, and we take the restart. I get a good run coming out of turn two, and I see this IndyCar sized gap between Rob and Jordan, and I'm like, I could probably make it fit through there, and I just kind of whipped the car to the left, and I managed to get past Jordan going into turn three, and then from that point, I kind of took off. Like I've never really experienced that in an IndyCar race, especially on an oval where I've been able to just kind of take off. But I think by the time the first pit stop happened on that green flag run, I think it was a 7-second lead. So obviously I was doing something right. I know some guys were shifting to sixth when they had clean air. Oh, excuse me. I know some guys were shifting to sixth when they had clean air, and that was really bogging their car down. I was just staying in fifth the whole time. Um, but I made the first green flag run and almost hit the pit wall, trying to be aggressive going into my pit box. Luckily, that did not happen. But fast forwarding a bit, Joshua Altus, what a guy! Um, he wrecked it coming out of pit road and brought out the caution. Gave me a heart attack, because I felt like it was anyone's race at that point. Like I worked really hard to get that lead, and it kind of just vanished. And on the restart, Jordan gets in front of me, and then Mike Kelly makes it three wide on the bottom, which I'm not upset about it. I do the same thing. So I stuck it in the middle because I made a business decision. I wanted to win the race. Um, and Jordan had gotten to the wall, which I didn't know if I had gotten into him during the race, which I didn't. I rewatched it. It was clean on my end. Um, but I tried to size up Mike for a little bit, and I finally got a run going into turn one, went to his outside, and then he kind of cleared me. I backed off a little bit, and then coming out of turn two is when I made the move with like 5 laps to go, and that was the move that won me the race. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the Indy cars, and it was very exciting winning one of the first CRL double events, because it's a once a year type thing. It's only on Memorial Day, um, for us. So, and to win the first annual Ghost Athletics 250 uh, in the IndyCar at Indy was definitely special, and I heard it came with a trophy, which I'm pretty excited about. It's gonna go on my shelf. So I don't that's the fun part about it. The hardware that comes with it. So it's with these special events. That and the championship, which we're struggling with this season in the Truck Series and the ARCA Series, but we'll get there eventually.
And moving on to the half distance Coke 600 that we ran, it was I think we had like 160 lap or 140 lap green flag run to end the race, and a lot of different pit strategies and a lot of different um, skills of drivers spread out along the entire track. And Seth, you ended up coming home with the victory of that. So let's hear a rundown of from start to finish on your race.
Yeah. Well, first of all, congratulations, Caleb, because that was really cool that you won the Indy race, and you were definitely fast for sure. You were out there really good at one point, and Mike and I were talking about it, and we're like, man, he is kicking our butts, dude. Like, so you were on rails, without a doubt. I don't know how you did. I mean, obviously hearing you play it back there gives me a better idea, but I didn't. I actually, and not to try to keep going on the Indy race, but I think I was in sixth most of the race, so maybe I kind of screwed myself there. I didn't realize that maybe being in fifth gear was kind of the better option, but I don't really know those cars very well. So, and I did try to make some adjustments to the anti-roll bar and stuff like that, but yeah, wow, that's cool. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, man. So yeah, as far as the Coke race goes, for me personally, I had a lot of practice for that race. So I did, and I'll tell you the cheat here. I did the NIS race, which was 400 laps already. So I had 400 laps there, and I finished third, and then I ran the next NIS race a couple of days later, and that was just because I wanted the I wanted the safety rating, and I usually fairly do pretty good at that track. So and I don't mind the car. I know a lot of guys don't like the car, but so I ran the second one, and I pulled a Spinelli, as you guys like to call it. Actually, I was going to pit road. My wife was actually crew chiefing for me again, and she said, "You want to pit this lap?" And of course, when I looked down to make sure that my stuff was set, when I looked back up, I actually was way too close to try to hit pit road. I was trying to adjust brake bias and try to get more front brake, and ended up running right into the barrels, like a goofball. So race was over there. So I had some practice going into the race. It was like 750 laps of practice actually, because that was at the end of the race that happened. So yeah. And as far as going into our race, qualified good. I think I qualified fourth. And really it was just oh, that's right. The first run that we had, I just tried to save. I tried to run really hard, and I noticed that a lot of other guys were running really hard too. Like everybody was up front. The front guys were running really, really hard. So I kind of knew what to expect as far as speed goes, right? Like I knew where you guys were going to be as far as, when the end of the race comes, where I was gonna, how much I was gonna have to push, what lane I wanted to run, and all that kind of stuff. So that was what I did the first run. As we kind of came with the second run there, I ended up taking it easy that second run. I just kind of, I think I fell back to like 13th or so, 12th or 13th. And I was just kind of seeing what was going to happen up front, and you guys kind of started to pull away a little bit. And so I knew it was, one thing about Charlotte is that it's a track position matters big time there. So I knew that I definitely didn't want you guys to get too far out in front of me, because it would make it really hard to catch you if we had a green flag run. So that was kind of the big thing there. I kind of stepped up my pace and started pulling myself back up towards the front. And really, we had a pit stop. I think, well, actually, no, Lane was running up there. He was running first. Lane stayed out for a while. What I don't understand what Lane did was when I passed Lane, we were already in the green flag pit stops. It was time to pit for green flag pit stops. What I don't know what Lane did was I don't know why he stayed out as long as he did. I think I was expecting him to kind of short pit like as soon as I passed him, I was expecting him to pit or like right when I was about to, and he never did. And I knew that once I got in front of him and he stayed out so long, I think I had like a second or a couple seconds on him, and I knew that okay, well at this point, since I'm beating the rest of the field with that kind of time, the longer I can stay out, the better. So I just tried to stay out as long as I could for that. And I had talked to my wife about it for the final pit stop. I knew that I think it was 156. If I pitted at 156 or no, 158, I'm sorry. If I pitted at 158, that would give me enough time to have the tires. I knew how fast I was on the long run. So I knew that catching people I didn't think was going to be too much of an issue. So I pitted at that 158 mark. And then really it was just a matter of making sure that I didn't burn off that right front and keep driving it off the right rear. And I knew I could catch those guys on the long run because I knew they weren't as fast. So that's what happened. And we were able to kind of to get a nice little gap there for the finish. And yeah, for me and being able to win the first annual um
Grand Designs
double.
300.
Yeah, thank you. For me to be able to win that's cool. I got to be completely honest, I didn't even realize that it was the first annual, and I'm sorry, and hope that's not bad I'm saying that on the podcast here, but I didn't
No,
realize that it
you're
was the
completely
first
fine.
one. Yeah, so that's really cool that it was the very first one. So I'm really excited about that. I had no idea about the trophy and stuff like that Chris sent me and said, "Hey man, this is what I got coming for you," and stuff. And I'm like, "Wow, okay, like that wasn't expected either." So, just more goodies and more cool things that you guys do in the league, and that I'm just glad to be a part of it. So you just never know what's going to happen when you win a race. You never know what you're going to get, I guess. So, yeah, so it was a lot of fun. And I thought that as far as the amount of green flag laps that we ran, that's just kind of a testament to the league and how guys run around each other in a car that I think typically most people don't really run. You guys, from what I understand, a lot of the comments
No.
Yeah,
and things like that that people said,
there's a
there's
lot of
not a
guys
lot of
who
people.
don't run those cars at all. I do not like those cars whatsoever, and I honestly had a pretty decent race to begin with, and I ended up getting a speeding penalty. I was on a really good strategy to get at least the top 5 finished, and ended up getting a speeding penalty, and then drove the car too hard at the end and ended up getting wheel damage, so I just pulled off the track.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, there you go. Guys that don't typically run the car, and we had all those green flag runs. I think that's really cool. So I don't think the car was really hard to drive. I thought that it was a pretty good setup for it. It got a little tight, but I think most people were probably shifting and and stuff like that. So I think that probably helped a lot. But yeah, no, yeah, that's all I got for that for sure.
I personally didn't even figure out to start shifting until about halfway through the second long stint. So I was definitely behind the 8 ball there.
Yeah, you know where fifth gear really works there is if you run the high side, because you can carry so much momentum into the turn, and it'll allow you to carry that momentum through, and then you can use it to run to get a good run off. So keep that in your bank for next year.
I'll have to
Um,
remember that because honestly,
yeah,
I don't run that car very often. So it was definitely a learning experience for me.
yep, yep. So, but no, that's one of my favorite cars. On the service, I like running it just because, and I guess that's why it's my favorite because, and I said this in the interview. I like the shifting factor of it. I think the car is I don't like the high downforce package. I think the car, I would love to see a higher horsepower, maybe lower downforce package on the thing. I think that it'd be kind of more like the, and we've kind of had this discussion in the Discord before, but like, I like the Gen 6 car. I think it's one of the hardest cars to drive on the service. And I remember
That's my best
back,
car.
yeah, dude, at this point in my racing, I would love to see a league put on like a season of Gen 6. I just want to know what I can do with it because At one time, it was really hard. I remember restarts in the Gen 6 were so hard. Like, guys would wreck all the time. And then iRacing was like, well, we should probably do something about this. So I think they toned it down just a little bit. But man, that car, you could, you had to know how to drive that car. Like, it was tough. This car here, the next gen car, I think that just the way the package is and things like that, I think anybody can pretty much drive it. It's just a matter of whether or not you can get the shifting down right. And the big thing with this car is the aero, right? So like air affects this car big time. So if you know how to maneuver through the air, you can be faster, or you can pull guys back to you, right, using the side draft, real heavy, and things like that. So knowing how to maneuver around the air, and when you're behind somebody, don't be on their outside. Don't allow the air to affect you there. Be on the inside of their car, and that way the air's not coming over the car and making it tight. And that's why a lot of guys hit the wall when you're behind somebody, is the car gets so tight because you're on the wrong side of the guy in front of you. So, anyway.
Rob, Jacob, I know your races didn't go very well. I know there was some moments. We don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
Nah, I'm okay.
The Grant Designs or the Ghost Athletics? Which one we talk about here?
I wrecked in both. So
Do you wreck in the Indy race?
Oh no, I didn't. I just
Oh.
I was
Well,
stuck in traffic and I just wanted to try something different, honestly.
I know you had a moment in the in the Grant Designs 300. There was some
you
radio
had a few moments.
communication. I'll say
Several moments.
there was some radio communication between you and
I
another
was a
driver.
pinball.
But yeah, I mean, you got doored pretty heavy. I was behind you when it happened. But yeah,
Yeah, I was uncharacteristically frustrated. It is what it is, but it was a rough few laps for me, unfortunately, and I was kind of, getting the short end of the stick several times, it felt like, and I just, got frustrated, unfortunately. So, but it is what it is. We move on, don't we, Jakob?
We do. We're moving on to New Hampshire next Monday, and that's where I'll be debuting Grant's Auto Shipping. Use code BLOCKME, and you can get free shipping.
Yeah. Well, while we're on the topic of New Hampshire, let's go ahead and make our picks. We didn't have any picks last week because, well, we were running the double, and that wasn't
Well, I
a
picked.
points race.
I'm pretty sure I said I was going to pick you for the Indy race,
Well,
and you picked me for the Coke race, and that was a terrible idea.
yeah. Well, now I know for next time. And pick Seth. But
You feel forced to say that, don't you?
oh no, I mean you were class
Oh,
of the
you're
field all
fast, man.
night. Yeah, so um
Came in and you're now one of the highest rated drivers in CRL, in my
Oh,
opinion.
thank you.
let's go ahead and make our picks for New Hampshire. I don't
Let me pull up some stats real quick. Let me pull up the New Hampshire stats for CRL.
Rob,
Let's see.
you're racing, right?
That is my intention, yes.
Okay. I'm going to pick you.
I feel like that's a good pick.
Well, you guys have a lot of faith in me, I'm going to be honest with you.
Now, Rob, if I recall, there was a certain championship I will not talk about.
Ooh, your arch nemesis, David Trailer.
We don't want to listen. That was the closest I've ever been. I cried that night. That was the closest I've ever been to winning a championship in a league, and I felt 10 laps short. But you gave me a lot of grace You didn't pass me. You let me battle. You let me battle him. You didn't until he fucking walked the dog on me, and then you passed me, and then left me. But you're quick. I'm gonna pick you. Locking it in.
You're picking Rob Sherwood for New Hampshire.
Yep, Ron Sherwood.
This will be Rob's first start, maybe at New Hampshire.
First,
don't see a name.
Brother,
For CRL, the Truck Series.
Oh, well, yeah, I've never run it at New Hampshire and CRL. I mean, we
Yeah,
did
that's
it
what
in
I'm
the
saying.
Thursday night league, but I mean, we've only run New Hampshire once on the Monday night league that I know of.
No, we have ran. Well, if you go back to like the start, we've ran a total of 8. Lane has the most of the current drivers with 6 starts there. Evan, Nate, Chris all have 5. Justin Carey, Jeremy Moore, myself all have 3, and then everybody else either has 2 or 1 or none. And in CRO.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go with Parker Collins. He last time we raced here, I think he ended up finishing second, and he was pretty fast. He led a lot. Yeah, I'm going with Parker.
I'm gonna go Lane Hostler.
It's a good pick.
It's a good pick. He has a win here. He has won. He has
really
5 top. He has 5 top 5s and 6 starts here.
Yeah, I mean that's a really good pick. Seth, who you got?
Actually, you guys kind of picked. I was going through and I'm thinking, okay, like Hostler, Parker, Altus. I was thinking Jacob Grant.
I got to start from the back. I have an EOL. I'll just say that.
Okay.
For his
Well,
loud outburst.
long race.
Yeah, for calling
I
everybody a
think Mike
dumbass.
Kelly can do. I think. Oh shoot. I think.
Sorry.
I think Kelly can do good here. I'm just trying to think. The last time that Kelly and I raced at this racetrack. I think Ricky Harden might be a good pick too. You know what? I'm gonna go with Evan Kinney.
I like
It's a good
it.
pick.
That's a good pick.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Evan Kinney.
Just keep his bumper away from Rob, and he'll maybe he'll bring it home. Sorry, Rob.
You know what? David Trailer's the GOAT.
You know what? He's got one more championship than I do, so.
It's okay. I'm just saying certain people wreck every week, and they don't get nearly the flack that I do over wrecking Evan Kennedy last year. So maybe that'll change one day.
I do have to be nice to you. We went golfing this past weekend because the Coke 600 was at Charlotte Motor Speedway. The traveling circus that is NASCAR decided to come to Charlotte, and you, Josh, and Zachary Peterson, Evan Coleman, they all came down, and we went golfing. You didn't golf, unfortunately. I didn't get play you, but I had one of the best rounds of my life. That's a lie, but I lost probably a whole box. Golf balls got burnt to a fucking crisp. Um, it was a great time. The racing was good. Um, there's a photoshopped image of me standing in front of a Chase Elliott hauler wearing a Chase Elliott hat. That is not me.
Definitely not. It's definitely not photoshopped. You are wearing a Chase Elliott hat.
Yeah, I was there when that picture was taken.
No.
That's not photoshopped.
No,
Busted.
no. I was okay. Negative soldier. Also in that picture, I'm not red yet. I got burned really bad over the weekend. Like Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s Budweiser car. Imagine that, but on the back of my neck and my arms. It was
It was rough. It was
But-
rough. Caleb
but-
literally looked like a redneck.
And
like
I had Caitlin spray
it
his
it
neck
was it
was
was
clean, and
bad,
it did not work. It just once we got to the race, it's like it made it worse.
dude. It was
Mm.
it was so bad because like we went to what was that restaurant we ate at after the Xfinity race?
Did we do actually I can't
Bad
remember.
Daddy's Burgers,
What was it, Jacob?
Bad Daddy's.
Okay, so we ate at Bad Daddy's Burger, right? And when I went to go use the bathroom, I went inside because we were outside. I went inside to use the restroom, and I guess my neck was so red I could hear somebody at the table. They were like, "Damn, his neck is red." I'm like, what? Like it was,
That's funny.
and so I had to come back, and I guess it was that bad. Like I guess it was as red as the Toyota logo on my little jersey I was wearing because I was wearing my Denny Hamlin jersey. But
Yeah, it was the Chase Elliott jersey, but his
it
Think
was
khaki.
Bubba Wallace's McDonald's scheme.
just say bubble.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace's McDonald's scheme. That was as red as your neck was.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
How
yeah.
did anybody end up watching the truck race on TV? I don't think
I
I ever
I was at
watched
the
it.
truck
I ended
race.
up with a huge headache.
Yeah, it was I don't know who won the truck race. Um but we were in the infield for the ARCA race, which was a super cool experience. And um like walking around the garage and being on pit road and everything, watching Cletus absolutely miss a gear. Now I don't even think he missed a gear. I think he just spun his tires. We were on the bridge
Yeah,
that you walk
he
over on the Roval. Watched it happen. Oh, dude, it was crap. Even my brother was like, "He's gonna wreck." I'm like, "Ah, no, don't
yeah,
say that."
he just tried to take off as fast as he could, and it was his first time being on the front row on a restart, and he just lit him up, and yeah, he caused havoc.
But the extended race was fun. That tell you what, the fourth row coming out of turn four, the fourth row, you can see the whole track. I wasn't expecting being able to see the whole track. Um, but it was fun. It was fun. I enjoyed myself this race weekend. Now I'm being relegated to indoors to save my skin. Um, 'Cause yeah, twas a bad time.
What it feel like
But
racing tonight then?
oh,
Did that
what
mess
the
with you at all?
oh
With
no no
with
no no
your
the no
yeah.
the racing was fine. I did okay. That's a lie. I woke up Sunday morning. Luckily, I didn't go to the 600. I've been to one 600, and that's enough for me. Um, I is a really long. I'll go to like an endurance race, but I know what I'm getting into. There's a time limit. The 600, I think it go from like 4, 5. It just depends on how many cautions and whatnot. But yeah, no, I woke up Sunday morning and like I guess I rolled over wrong on my pillow and like my
Oh,
whole neck was just stinging. And I'm like, oh, like I even I should have got some like aloe vera or like whatever it was called to like put on my neck, but I didn't. But I definitely got burned when we were playing golf because like my whole right arm to my hand was like red, and then my left hand white, and then from from the wrist up red. So I definitely got burned playing golf, but the race didn't help either. So, but yeah, it was a fun race weekend. Rob, you actually went to the 600. How was that?
By far the best race of the year. It was even
Oh,
better in person.
watching it on Prime. So I understand some people are upset that it is streaming and you know y- it's not on cable and all of that. But at the same time, who doesn't have Prime? And then like I'm just being
Mm.
honest here.
Yeah.
Like every pretty much every household has an Amazon account. And I'm not trying to be like, that guy, but like every house like I have one, my mom has one. There's two in this household. So like one of us is watching NASCAR, but um I think I think their viewership dropped because last year it was range shortened, but they got 3 million viewers. And then this year, I think it was 2.1 million, but the average viewership age dropped by 6 years. So like younger people were watching NASCAR, which is a good thing. But like, I guess people were just irritated that it was streaming only, but it was by far the best broadcast. And if the next four races are as good as the broadcast for the 600, I wouldn't mind if Prime took over all of it.
No, I'd agree with that. I've been back and watched the broadcast of it, and they did a really good job. And you know what's so funny about the people that are complaining about it being on Prime is that the free trial that they offered was for 30 days.
Hmm.
Well, the 30 days covers all five races because there's 28 days in between the start. If you had started it on the day of the Coke 600, that would have covered all five races over the course of 30 days. So somebody would have not even had to have paid to watch all five races. So we really just were complaining to complain. Shocker. I know, as NASCAR fans.
Yeah,
Is
and go ahead.
I was just gonna say, is it just 5 races that Prime's doing, or what?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was only the Coke 600 and then the next four races. So I guess
Mm.
what, through Mexico City? Like
it's
I
yeah,
guess Chicago will be the first race
it's
after.
it's
Gotcha.
Nashville, Pocono, Mexico. There's another one in there.
I didn't know that. I actually thought it was gonna be on Prime for like the rest of the season. I didn't know. I don't have cable, so like, I was really excited that it was on Prime. I do pay for the Max. Well, Zach and I, Zach, my son, he has the Max account thing, and then, I just watch Logano's in car and listen to his spotter all the time, and that's good enough for me because I most of the time I can't even stand listening to the broadcast
It
of NASCAR.
So
But go
quick
ahead.
question. I know
Yeah.
you just said Zach, and that's your son. I thought he was your brother, so that is your son that we were racing with, not your
Yep.
brother.
Yeah, that's my son. Yes.
Okay, cool. That is
very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah. Yep. Samantha is my wife, the one that's been in the Discord with me, and then Zach is our oldest son. He's 21.
That is
Well, he'll be
awesome.
21. So yeah.
Cool.
So
He's in
yeah.
me and Caleb's age range because I'm 25, or yeah, I'm 25, about to be 26.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
The
Now
fact
you're
that
just
you
old,
almost
Jacob.
got your age wrong.
I feel like it.
He said I'm 24. Wait, yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
See,
it's
it's
weird.
easy. It's easy for me because like whatever year it is, without the 20 in front of it, that's how old I am. It's just easy. It's easy for me.
Well, technically that's how it is for me, but sometimes
Eh,
you just
not
forget these things.
not really.
Yeah, I'm 39 now. So I just turned 39 this past year. But so yeah, getting older and sucks, but it's not too
It's
bad, I
life.
guess. I mean,
It's part of
yeah,
life.
it's part of life, exactly. So
But we we appreciate you coming onto this podcast.
yeah.
You know, it was a special podcast. The podcast right after the CRO double, where myself and you won the first two races of the first annual CRO double. Um, so we appreciate you coming on board and being on this podcast. We also want to thank our sponsors at Ghost Athletics and Grant Designs for sponsoring our CRL Truck Series, which you can catch on Monday nights at 8:30 on OSR Network, and the CRL ARCA Series on Wednesday at 8:30 on OSR Network. But yeah, we appreciate you coming on board, and we will see everyone. Well, will we see everyone next Friday? I won't be here.
Jacob and I will see everybody next Friday.
Okay.
Yes. Me and Rob will be taking over the reins on the podcast next Wednesday or next Friday morning when you guys will be hearing it. I'm not sure who we're gonna have on yet, or if we're gonna have anybody on, or if it's just gonna be me and Rob just shooting the shit up in the podcast booth. But it'll be fun.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely be listening. So, but yeah, Rob and Jacob only podcast next Friday, maybe with a special guest. But we appreciate everyone that listens, and bye bye.